Where's up, LA?
Few things. The meeting officially starts in 5 minutes. A few news articles. We'll be setting up a weekly schedule that will cover activities for everyone here. Most events are on the calendar that involve RPGs, PvP training, transmog runs, raid scheduling, other events, etc., etc. For those of you who have not signed up on the Guild Facebook page, Guild forums, Guild website, you need to do that. Make sure that information is put down below. I put all the news information that is relevant to the games we're playing on those mediums. For instance, I am updating the fact that Blizzard, as of today, I believe they have updated the troll female and male models. Those are available. There's an article up on the Facebook page about that. There's information about the 10-year anniversary, and also information regarding the first screenshots of the new Warlords of Draenor cinematic trailer, which will be releasing on, I believe, this Thursday. This is, of course, because of the Gamescom game showcase in Cologne, Germany. It's similar to E3. It's the largest game showcase in the world, and it's quite important. I've also linked some new images of the new Iron Horde Alliance invasion on the website. It shows the new Dark Portal. The new Dark Portal will be, I believe, the way in which we enter to engage in this invasion. And from what I can see, it's basically the Dark Portal will have Alliance armies as far as the eye can see, marching into the Dark Portal to attack the orcs rather than the other way around, which is quite interesting. The Warlords of Draenor expansion, not surprisingly, will significantly focus upon Draenor, Draenei in general. Will be playing a much more active role. I expect to see a great deal more of that style of armor and aesthetic. If you remember Tier 4 from back in Burning Crusade, you can expect quite a bit more of that, the Draenei heavy plate with the crystals in it and so on. Part of the reason I've made this character is specifically to have some fun going back through some of that content for people to get some transmogs and so on. But more importantly, and from a practical standpoint, I know it's asking a lot of people to transfer over to the Alliance on Bleeding Hollow, and it's expensive. I know that many people are struggling to afford transfers over, so the Guild is doing everything we can to help subsidize and help long-standing members with transfers of critical characters. The rule set is as follows: to be qualified and eligible for Guild assistance with transfers, you must be in good standing with the Guild, have a significant track record of membership, been here a few months or more. You need to speak with Commander Morfiend so that he can put you on the list. We will only assist with one character, one critical character. We will give priority to classes that we need more of. So chances are if you're a hunter or a rogue, you're not going to be prioritized unless you're a critical group leader. But if you're a raid healer or you're a critical class that we're looking for, chances are we will do everything we can to have you over, because you will help us win battles now and into the future. So if you need help getting transferred over, please speak with Morfiend. If not, to show that I'm willing to leave it behind to go to a better server with higher activity, I have started a character from scratch. You may use the mail system to move heirlooms across servers. It's simply the character name on the other server at the server name. So mine would be Archaeos at Bleeding Hollow. I sent all of my heirlooms over, gemmed and enchanted and so forth, or rather enchanted, and leveling is very, very simple. Even very casually, you're going to level at probably more than a single level per instance. So you can dungeon grind all the way up to 70 or 80 very, very quickly. It's a lot of fun. You could choose a new character that will be stronger in the expansion. A few things for those of you who have missed the previous meeting or are newer to the Guild. The reasons we are on Bleeding Hollow are as follows. One, it's much more active than any other server in World of Warcraft in terms of world PvP. It has more dedicated world PvP guilds and more activity than any other server. It's the best place to be. In addition, our previous server, the level of activity had fallen off substantially. We were dealing with very few fights, very inconsistently. The morale of the Alliance we were fighting on Darkspear was crushed. There were very few city attacks. Most of the time, we were just fighting small groups of guilds that we had already defeated multiple times, and frankly, the level of challenge was low. The leadership was very young, inexperienced, and not challenging. They'll deny that's the case, but for those of you who are aware of those individuals, I don't think it's very sporting for us to be beating up on a lot of guild leaders who are literally not old enough to drink. So here we are on Bleeding Hollow. Exhaustive time and effort was put in by the officers and other members who assisted on Tichondrius, Emerald Dream, and other servers that we evaluated. I personally did not have a favorite server. This was not, at my core, a decision that I was pushing for. I want all of you to have the most entertainment and the most fun possible going into Warlords of Draenor. It is the most important expansion for World of Warcraft. It is completely make or break at this point. It is a massive update and upgrade of World of Warcraft. It is really significantly making this game more relevant graphically and in terms of and changes to fundamental class abilities and how your abilities are used. It is the most significant expansion they have ever had, and it looks beautiful. For those of you who are lucky enough to be in the beta, they're giving us so much. They're giving us player housing. They're giving us large-scale world PvP. They're even giving us, at the 10-year anniversary, South Shore versus Terran Mill, which will be 100 v 100. There will be 40-man rating for reasonable gear, etc. So all of those things will be focused on by this guild. We are, for those of you who are new, a PvP guild. We do all forms of PvP, but we are focused on large-scale world PvP. In Ashran, in Warlords of Draenor, the next expansion, the top-end PvP gear, the equivalent gear to what you get in arenas and RBGs, will now be available through World PvP in Ashran. It will have variable stats similar to what Diablo has, which means that not every piece of gear will be identical to the other. Some will have more crit or more whatever than other pieces, so you can mix and match to make a more specific set to your liking and needs of your character. There are very substantial class changes coming along, so I want you all to be aware of that, and it is critical that you keep up to date. Tier List and Rate of Fire and the rest of the Warrant Officer Department have been putting in an enormous amount of time and effort on the Ruin YouTube page. If we could get a link to that, please, Plutus, at the bottom of the channel. You'll notice the quality, just the YouTube channel.
Okay.
You can see there are class guides which are available for, I believe, nearly every class and nearly every spec, thanks to Tierless, who's been doing tremendous work. We're trying to raise some additional funds to compensate him and Rate and those who are putting in the time editing and creating these videos. This is not an easy job, going through every class and every spec and all the changes as they're occurring prior to Warlords, so that all of you have the best and most up-to-date information, is an amazingly time-consuming task. So I do want to make sure that we are all pitching in towards continuing to make sure those resources are available. Every one of you in this guild, we want you to be the best you can be. We want you to have the access to training in those video forums and in Battlefield, RBG, World PvP, large-scale battlegrounds scenarios. So all of the officers and NCOs, or your lieutenants and officers, sergeants, corporals, are all setting up events on the calendar to get you prepared for what will be a very exciting, extremely active expansion. And I want to make sure that you are all well aware of what you want to do. You've made a decision on your main character going into it, so you can level together with us to 100, and so that we can be as active and as relevant on the battlefield here on Bleeding Hollow as we possibly can be. We would like, for those of you, I'm sure many of you have friends and family who are returning to World of Warcraft after long hiatuses. It's very clear that many players have left World of Warcraft during the Pandaria expansion. It was not particularly well received. It's their least successful expansion, but Warlords might well be their most successful expansion based upon what we're seeing. So that's the World of Warcraft general news. We will be having a small meetup at the launch of the trailer cinematic in Los Angeles. If you are in the area and will be there, you can contact me to let me know when you're showing up.
Everyone that shows up gets free beta keys, by the way.
Yes, everyone showing up will get beta keys. So those of you showing up from Southern California or wherever, please let us know. We will be getting there fairly early so we can be there for that experience. Beyond that, I would like to go through the normal guild meeting news, and for those of you arriving late, there potentially is an attack on the city, likely, so we want to make sure that we are ready for that. Lazarus, did you want to discuss any of the upcoming... All right, is he down the other channel? Or is he not? Who is available? All right, so Morphine, go ahead and give your basic update on WildStar, and then we can go down through some of the other upcoming games.
Well, WildStar has been progressing slowly. It's facing the the hump after the launch. Basically, people are mass exodusing out as they find that it's a little bit too hard for some of them and returning to other games, maybe WoW or whatnot else. So this week we're going to be turning around and trying to get more people in position to get more recruits coming in. And we're going to sit down and kind of analyze what it's looking like in the long run. So next week we'll have a better report for you guys as to what it will be looking like, but still, still getting there. People are still getting attunement done, and they're still doing BG groups and all that kind of stuff. And I do have a few keys left still, so they are available.
All right, very good. Modia Scoodles, did you want to discuss the updates to Star Citizen? What's going on in that game?
They've recently opened the patch, or sorry, the dogfighting module to all backers for the multiplayer. They've fixed a lot of the lag bugs, and they're polishing it quite nicely. It is a absolute ton of fun, and if you want to get in on it, I highly recommend it.
I am streaming the dogfight module multiplayer right now, if anybody's interested.
Very good. I was streaming earlier, Star Wars The Old Republic. As many of you who are longtime veterans are aware, we had a very strong and committed presence in that game for about a year until it died off, and it was something that we did not play seriously for some time. It's now free to play. There was, however, during that time, a promise made that if they ever released the ability to build a guild capital ship for a guild hall, that we would go back and do that, and in fact, they are providing that system. So, in Star Wars The Old Republic, you will be able to build a Star Destroyer guild hall that we can all use for fun, so your inner dorks can delight. They have provided a system for player housing on multiple planets. In addition, they have put in a very extensive free flight starfighter system. I was streaming some of that earlier. I'm surprised by how much better done the game is. Star Wars is not a very strong PvP game. It is a story-driven game made by BioWare. It's the best leveling game I have ever played. It is one of the weakest endgame PvP games, however. It's not a great fit for a large-scale world PvP guild like ours, but it is a lot of fun. For those of you who have not had a chance to play that game through, we will be doing basically a free-to-play Sunday service in the guild where people will be asked to play games like this. In the past, we'd have people go and for nostalgic reasons, play games like Warhammer Online that we previously were extremely active and very prominent in, and we will be asking people to check it out. Check this game out, or Guild Wars 2, or whatever else is out there to broaden your gaming horizons. To that end, we will be streaming more of that game. We will be opening a branch officially in Star Wars to construct our Guild Star Destroyer that all of you will have access to as members of the guild. You can park your starfighters on that ship, and apparently it can be piloted from planet to planet and provides all sorts of player buffs and all sorts of other super geeky things. And I'm sure it will be quite a bit of fun, and to have bragging rights regarding the fact that finally this guild will have a guild hall worthy of it. For those who have any questions, I will be putting that on the active World of Warcraft branches, along with World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 and WildStar. So I believe we're going to be Sith on Bastion server. Last I checked, if you have any additional questions, that will be the best place to find us. We'll officially be starting that branch on this coming Sunday. So that's basic game news right now. We have been updating as per usual on our YouTube page and our affiliated pages, quite a bit of information of other upcoming games. Yang has been putting out a tremendous amount of information on console games, Gamescom, etc. So we have very comprehensive coverage. It's taken a lot of time and effort for many, many members of this guild. And going forward, if you are interested in stepping forward to help out in any areas within the guild, the warrant officer department that provides that media and guides and coverage of upcoming games is really essential to getting us additional exposure. It helps us with recruitment. It helps us with knowledge base. It helps us with making more effective training options available to our members, and ultimately it helps us win. So if you'd like to help out, if you do a lot of streaming, if you do a lot of video production, Mr. Rate of Fire is your man to speak with, and he will assist you. If you can't help in that regard but have other technical skills, if you're a graphic designer, artist, writer, whatever, speak with Rate of Fire about how you can help out, and we will get that taken care of. We will be updating the rest of the guild infrastructure prior to Warlords of Draenor launch to make sure that we are up to date, good to go, and ready for this very active period in World of Warcraft. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns from officers as far as major news before we dismiss and go on to do our event, our World PvP and World PvE boss clear? I'll take that as a no.
I have. Sorry, I promoted up. What's his name?
Cold-hearted.
Then Cold-hearted, yes, to corporal for HR, and put Desde as corporal will for HR.
Are there any other additional promotions or people who are returning? I'll take that as a no. Generally speaking, as time goes on, we tend to do large-scale PvP events, and when we're at full strength, we will be doing city raiding and so forth. But today, many people are just leveling up, and obviously many new members in the guild. We know this is a very horde-dominated server. That's why we're here. We're going to do some quick PvE so that we have access to some of that content going forward. Right. Also, Mom will be promoted up as well during this meeting. She will be assuming the rank of officer to help out with the reforms to the HR system. For those who are new to the guild, we understand that we need to be putting in a lot of time and effort training and getting people up to snuff, particularly in PvP prior to the expansion. So we'll be focusing our new members meetings and training assistance specifically on providing that for everyone here. There will be a focus on getting you all access to what you need to be more effective players. We're an open door guild. We do take in anyone willing to learn, who is a decent human being, who has enough social IQ to get along with everyone else. That doesn't mean we don't prize skilled players. We have many players who are in a 2K arena rating or RBG rating or above, and we host multiple teams at that level. We want you all to improve yourselves, to become better players, to take on that challenge and succeed. There are multiple leaders of RBGs, including Armory and Slick Bruno, who have experience in the 2K plus range. We have many of the PvP officers have previously led RBG groups in the 2400 plus brackets and have been at very high levels in smaller scale PvP. We prefer large scale PvP. That is the norm in MMOs, but we do want you to be successful. We do offer a champion rank in this guild for exceptional players. Provides you a variety of perks. But for those who have demonstrated amazing ability as a player, we do want you to improve. Champions are the unofficial class seniors. They're the exemplars of their class. They have a lot to teach you on how to play effectively, not only in Arena and RBG, but in World PvP Tactics. They're there to help you. They're there to be the examples of how we wish for all of you to perform in terms of playability. And we will be holding additional events and inter-guild tournaments to determine who the best of each class in this guild are to become champions. And for those of you who are interested in taking on more challenges, we always have NCO, they're non-commissioned officer positions for promotion, everyone showing merit and ability. So if you have leadership experience in World of Warcraft, other games in the real world, military, business, whatever, we want you to step up. Everyone who holds an officer rank here worked for it. They put in the time and the effort. Most of these individuals have prior experience in some form of hierarchy, and they have something to bring. We are not wedded to any one way of doing things. We have a very significant talent pool and experience pool within this guild, and I want to make sure that if you have talent and ability that would be useful in improving the way in which we're doing things at the tail end of this expansion and into Warlords of Draenor, we need you to step up. It doesn't have to be just in battleground leadership or whatever else. We need PvE leaders. We need people who just do events, people who are artists, people who are programmers, people who can help out in organization in terms of those who are providing content or can provide us business advice or assistance with fundraising to make things happen. All of you are needed to step up, particularly during this period of transfer and going into a new expansion. It's more critical now than at any other time to have whatever assistance we can bring to bear to transfer over critical classes, battleground, raid leaders, whomever else you believe would be useful in furthering the guild. You can speak to me directly, or you can speak with any of the directors or commanders within the guild, and they will assist you in that regard. Are there any other general questions from the player base?
Who do I talk to work on my arena skills?
Any of the champions or leaders who provide 2 carries usually can, but you can also look at people based upon their rating, and they will typically be able to assist. Also, there's a variety of guides that cover these class issues that will be specific to whatever you're trying to do. 2s, 3s, your class, this comp, whatever. So make sure that you're aware of that. Let's try to keep this thing reasonably short. We're going to go get everyone ready to do a quick world boss clear. So let's get some portals to Shrine going for each raid group, and I'll open this up.